Hello, and I'm here with the lovely Emma Matthews from Raise Your Glass Productions. I said that correctly. Yeah. um, and so tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Okay, so we're a production company. We make predominantly short films and mainly for businesses or individuals who are looking to improve their online presence. So in layman's terms, we might make a promotional video for social media, or maybe like an about us or an introduction video for their websites. Yeah, we do. Ordinarily, we would film live events, conferences, and client testimonials, anything really that supports and helps to promote businesses, really.
And you did just a quick shout out. You did a really great sort of video montage to get a sense of Sarah Penrose's artist holidays or retreats in France, because that's where we sort of spent a bit of time. I think we'd met in passing at some networking before, but we basically went on a working holiday together. And I saw the results of it. It was really good because you really captured sort of details of the week, you know, things like the food and, you know, the day trips, obviously the art, the workshop. So you got a real sense of the experience. You know, it's so much more than just sticking a camera up and shooting. You know, you took some, and I think you do a bit of photography as well. I noticed there was sort of a few like static shots and stuff taken as well. But yeah, no, it's really good.
Well, thanks. You talk about our work much better than I always do. I think what you captured there really is the kind of the fundamental of our work is the storytelling. So I do tend to talk about it in kind of colder terms, promotional purposes. But yeah, I suppose the foundation of all our work is storytelling, and it's the adventure painting holiday was perfect for that, because it is an experience. There is a story to tell, and that's what we try and draw out of everything that we do.
And how did you guys get started?
I don't know if you can hear, my dog is drinking.
That's fine. It's fine.
I apologise. Lockdown life.
Yeah.
The question, how we got started? Yes. So Mikhail and I, Mikhail's my partner, so we work together collaboratively on all projects pretty much. And in our previous life, we actually used to make theatre productions. So storytelling is really is where we got started. We started incorporating video into some of our theatre productions, and so we then made the transition from theatre. We saw video as a way of kind of honing our creative skills and being able to really make a living from being creative, which we were struggling to do from theatre. And so, yeah, that was quite a long time ago now. We incorporated the business about 3 years ago, and just focused solely on video all that time.
Okay, and so I noticed earlier this week you did a video like top tips of how people can create their own videos. So obviously we're at the moment, we're currently in lockdown, you know, what's it, week 2, isn't it? And
feels like week 10.
Yeah. Obviously some people have been self-isolating before then, but generally speaking we're at week 2, and you know, lots of businesses have had to do a real shift. Either it's forced them out their comfort zone to actually get off their arse and go online. You know, they might have been thinking about it anyway, and this has been a real kind of push to do that. And other people who had never thought they would do online, had no real plans to, and try to think about how they can create some sort of online product and then obviously market it. So video is a fantastic way of doing that. And there's lots of ways that you can do it DIY. You don't necessarily have to have the kit. I mean, we've got laptops here, you know, headphones in, we're using Zoom. It's pretty kind of basic, but it gets the job done. what kind of sort of key top tips can you sort of pass on to people who are thinking about either developing what they're doing online, or can improve or get started?
Yeah, well, I think the very fact that everyone is in the same situation in terms of not being able to get professional video content done, certainly not interview style like this, it should take pressure off people to actually put it out there, just to get started, because you take away the technical kind of responsibility and pressure. Um, and really, really and truly, the most important thing for your viewers is the content, what you're actually going to be talking about, what are you saying. And so before I go into kind of technical tips, all I would just say is that whatever videos you're putting out there, try and think about how you are adding value to your community, whether that's your, you know, your business community or a local community. However it is, are you adding value? And that could be for loads of different reasons. It could just be for entertainment value. It could be that you are providing a service. So how is that service helping people? What is that going to do to improve their current situation? And I would just say, think about it like that.
I think that's a really great tip with that, and sort of on that, it's you know, don't be afraid to sort of have a brainstorming session, because I think there's a lot of people out there thinking, oh, I've got to go out online, and maybe looking what other people are doing and then copying. So if you start with thinking about what do you want to say, you know, what expertise have you got to share, how can you help people, it comes from a point of your unique selling point. It comes from a more authentic place than just doing what everyone else is doing on the herd, and not thinking about, is it right for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's such a personal way of communicating, because you are there, you are being you, if you try to emulate someone else, you'll end up, it will be jarring and people will notice it. You really are kind of stripped bare, for want of a better expression. So that authenticity of being you will chime with someone will connect with the way that you are. You might put some people off, and that's fine. You know, you're not going to have that connection with everybody, but I would say be brave, put that out there, and and you will have greater connections and greater engagement because of that.
Yeah,
sure.
and I think that that's true of like person to person networking, or running a business anyway. It's, you know, going online is kind of an extension. You're building relationships, and you know, if you're doing a pre-recorded thing, then you're something that's really helpful is thinking about who are you speaking to, and picture them, because it will help them feel it will come through that connection there. Another thing is doing things sort of more interview style like this that we're doing now, or doing sort of more workshop type things. So yeah, so there's sort of interview style like we're doing today. So, you know, I know that some people who are very new to video, the idea of talking to a blank screen, or the camera, or, you know, whatever, is a bit scary. But if you can sort of arrange sort of some chats like this with someone who can ask you questions, so at least it gets you started. I think that can help. Or if you're doing Facebook Lives, having someone there with you. Like I started doing Facebook Lives with my son for my health and wellbeing business. So that meant I was able to practice doing online video, and it took the pressure off, because I was like, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm not wearing any makeup, my hair's in a top knot, and I'm wearing my dressing gown because I'm making like breakfast with my son, and it's part of that reality. But it really helped me to practice that skill set. So now it's sort of, you know, when I choose to sort of go on doing video stuff with Lovely Evolution, I'd already kind of practiced it. So people may not have necessarily had that opportunity to do that, but as you said, don't worry about getting it perfect. Just do it the best as you can, and you can improve as you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I did exactly the same thing. Although I've been putting a few videos out there for a little while, recently I've started doing just some personal vlogging. In the current situation that we're in, I've found it's really helpful for me to actually talk talk with purpose, and get. So that really has helped me to practice the more, I suppose, professional vlogs, if you like, but it's essentially the same thing. And because I do struggle when we're not talking in this interview situation. I struggle with thinking on my feet. It's a skill and it just takes practice, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. The tips that Marie-Louise has just said are excellent, particularly like the interview style for getting started. And then when you do feel brave enough to go it on your own, just do short. Don't make it like some war and peace effort. Just give yourself, start with an introduction, like who you are, why you're doing this, and what your business is about. Then you can pin it to the top of your Facebook
and you
page.
can break it down into little topics, and sort of, because I think, isn't it, if it's under 2 minutes, people are more likely to watch it anyway. So you don't need to deliver, you know, a half an hour or an hour long workshop on the first go. Just start with snippets so people can see you and they feel like they know you. You're still doing that relationship building, even if you're talking to the screen, but it's back to sort of what are you sharing, break it down. And go with that. So just as a quick aside, you mentioned your blogs. Where can people watch these? I'm like,
I started posting them on LinkedIn on my personal profile, but the company also has a Facebook page, which is Raise Your Glass Films. That's where you'll see the professional vlogs. My personal vlogs, if I know you and you want to see them, they're on Instagram. But just send me a message. It's just really a commentary about how I'm feeling, how I'm coping with the kind of changes that we'll experience. But I've done that. I've kept that aside from the company Instagram, so I'm using my personal Instagram for that, just because they're a bit sweary. Although we're talking about authenticity for business, I think that for me, there's a kind of time and a place. It's not. I just don't want to put people off unnecessarily, and it just doesn't feel. I don't need that to emphasize my message.
It's more of a personal thing for an outlay, and it has the benefit of you being able to practice that online presence. So I guess that is something, if there's a way that you can practice and find an outlay for that's sort of private to you or to a select group of people. I mean, you can create things like Facebook groups, which are private and personal for just a small select people, build community, and you can do like Facebook Lives in it. There's lots of different ways, isn't there, that you can get yourself on video and either practice or produce content.
Yeah, and actually you just reminded me, I've got a small Facebook group myself for the company, for clients and people that I'm working with who want to test ground some videos. So actually, if you, again, via Marie-Louise or me, just message me and ask to be invited into that group. And
what's it called? Can people find it? Is it like a hidden one?
Yeah, I've kept it closed because I want to keep it supportive and friendly, and I just want to make sure that everyone involved realizes that this is a testing ground and that we're giving constructive criticism. Just ask to be a member. It's not a problem at all. I want people, as I say, to feel that they are being supported.
And so everyone is invited, but ask yourself or me about it. Because you added me to it, and it's a really great initiative, because I think we all need that feeling of support, and you've got so much expertise around video, whether it's sort of teaching how people can get a better result, because you were running workshops, weren't you?
So just late last year we started running workshops for basically what we're doing now is for getting people to start creating their own videos using some of the equipment that they've got at home, and also maybe they want to buy some entry-level equipment, maybe they've got a budget, so giving recommendations, and that stuff is all in my group, and I'm also releasing that information on these vlogs that we've spoken about. So some basic equipment like maybe a microphone, also how to make the most of your surroundings, how to pick your surroundings, how to light your videos, all that sort of thing. I mean, we could cover some basics here, but I think in terms of there's so much ground that we could cover.
Yeah.
But I thought I would just maybe use my setup now as an example for this is,
Sure.
you know, this is slightly different. So a lot of our workshops have been geared towards recording videos and how to edit your videos.
Yeah.
But this is just looking at, you know, we're networking, or maybe you've got a one-to-one with a client, maybe you want to deliver your own workshops to clients. So my setup here is actually really, really basic. I don't have any fancy equipment. I was explaining to you, my laptop doesn't support the virtual backgrounds, which is fine by me. I'm an analog girl, I don't mind. And so I'm restricted to the space in the house because my baby is asleep next door. My partner is using the studio so he can carry on working. So I've picked a corner of the kitchen and it's well lit. The light that you can see in the background is coming from the large window I have, and the door. And so that just lights up my face. So I sit with that slightly to the side, not directly in front of my face, but just to one side. So it gives my face some depth and definition. So I'm not just completely overexposed and washed out. The kitchen is very echoey. It's tiled floor, so it's the worst kind of floor. There's no absorbency, whereas with a lounge you might have a rug or a carpet, so that absorbs some of the echo. Yeah. So what I've done is, although it doesn't look perhaps as neat as it could be, I've just used my my mobile phone mic and headphones, so it helps to take away some of that background echo. Also, when you're using a mic, if you do have background noise, because my dog is in the kitchen with us, it also then focuses very simply, it just helps to eliminate, any microphone will help to eliminate background noise. So that's the
yeah, I've got a little microphone that just like a little clip-on one. You know, I mean, the sound on my laptop's not too bad. When I've sort of asked people, it's not made, but hopefully with having the microphone, it's slightly better. But for me, I'm also conscious that, I mean, I've got my little earphones in as well, just so that I can hear. And it just means that with everything else going on in the house, hopefully that it minimises that kind of background noise, the washing machine in the other room, or my son running around.
It's working perfectly, but those are the conditions that a lot of people are dealing with right now. So that's really the kind of tips that I'm giving out. And also a common but a common thing that people will do, if you can't, like me, you can't get a virtual background, don't sit right up against the wall, because what will happen is you'll throw a shadow on the wall and it can just be distracting, and there's no need for it. So don't be afraid to leave a gap between yourself and the wall, like 1 meter or 2 meters.
Obviously I can't do that with a virtual background. I think so while we're sort of talking about that, because I think it can sort of tie in, because we had a little chat before we started recording, and I noticed that you have created some kind of intro graphics for your top tips that I saw on LinkedIn. And so that you do a little bit of that, and obviously but if people are doing it yourself, you know, you want to have a slightly more professional look. Something that you can do is create like thumbnails for your video. So if you're uploading onto YouTube, they do offer the option to upload a thumbnail, and you can create them really easily, like using Canva. I've helped Sheena Shah improve hers because she's been doing some meditation ones.
I think that looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's just like small little changes can improve it. There are templates on there because, you know, Canva's got lots of templates, so you know, feel free to use them to get started. But you can, I think there are some other tools in Canva that it supports video now. If you've got the Pro, I haven't started playing with that yet, so I can't really talk too much about it. But even just creating a really nice thumbnail that gives a sense of what you're going to be talking about makes it much more eye-catching, and people can see it at a glance. It's like got the headline on it of what the topic is, and it will also help as part of the content side of it, is making sure that, you know, what's the point of that video that you're doing, what's the key thing that they're going to get out of it. And this virtual background was just done in Canva. There is a template well, there is the size available for it, and then there's some optional templates that you can use to get started. I mean, I created this myself. I'll just quickly show why I'm using it, because it's not so great without. So this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. Yay! So I do use my one where possible, and now I've got a little child coming in. Right, go away, please. No. I'm doing a video. Go. Thank you. So that's kind of my life. Close the door. No, he's not closed the door.
We've had dogs, we've had children. My internet keeps cutting out because I'm in the kitchen, and it's a Victorian townhouse, so these walls are built to last.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, sort of with these sort of series of interviews that I'm doing with people, I'm not really worrying about, you know, getting it perfect. The lighting for me is not terribly great. I'm kind of more on the darker side of the living room. So when the sun's out, I get a bit more natural light, but I've got like a little one of these floor lamps on me. So I could probably have put some face powder and makeup on, maybe brush my hair better. But it's just about it. We're just getting stuff done, and don't hold yourself back trying to think, oh, I've got to get it perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
if anyone does want to create some videos, but they don't have time to put it out there, we can always help with editing. It is a service that we do offer, and like you said, in terms of creating templates or creating little animations before the video, like an intro animation, we can still do things like that remotely. So if you are looking at, you want to create maybe more professional content within the context of you know, of the current environment, then there are ways, no problem at all. But I totally agree with you in terms of just getting started with it. This is a skill like any other, and it really just takes practice, and you have to rip the plaster off and do that. And if you don't want to put your videos public, then create your Facebook group of some trusted friends, or ask to join our groups, and we can just give you a thumbs up, or say, you know, you've got a little booger there, you might want to get rid of that before. We're here to help.
Something in the teeth or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there is the just get started, but also, you know, check that you haven't got some spinach in your teeth and stuff like that, you know.
And you're fully dressed, that would help.
Yeah, dressed is helpful. But just, it is a case of just do the best you can with the resources that you have. But I like the thing of, you know, if someone is wanting to get started and doesn't want that, you know, you can waste a lot of time editing. So it's a bit different if you're doing just like a little 2-minute video where it's practically like a Facebook Live, but it might be something you're pre-recording on your mobile, for example, and you're just doing it, it's fine. But if you're creating something that's maybe a longer, like how-to video, or something where you want it a bit more professional, we all do these sort of voice tics, like the you know, we're all doing it. I'm still doing it now, like get really aware of it. And I guess with the editing, that's something you can cut out. I see it a lot with this. I follow quite a few YouTubers, and you can tell that the ones that do actually take the time to self-edit. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm just getting it done, getting it out there, and just trying to ignore the ums. And, you know, when you make a mistake, it's fine. But if you are doing the whole going, sort of creating some sort of course or online, and you just want it to be a bit more polished because it's something that you see as being a more evergreen, so beyond this current climate of lockdown, etc., if you're wanting to get it in a bit better state, having you guys, you know, chop it up and improve it can do a lot. I mean, have you been doing that a lot lately, or is that something you've done quite a lot in the past?
Funnily enough, we were starting to offer it as a service just before this thing happened. So we've had a little bit of an uptake, and it's, I think clients are pleasantly surprised. Like there's only so much we can do, but we can improve audio. We can even the audio out. So sometimes
that's good to know.
Yeah, we can even it to an extent. We can remove certain blemishes even in the audio, but particularly if things are slightly overexposed, you know, we can or underexposed, we can, you know, we can improve to a certain extent depending on what we're working with.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
I guess
so
also just even just clipping stuff up and editing it in a certain way can get a better fit, because if you're doing some training on something you're talking, it's easy to go off on a tangent or waffle on. I'm guilty of it as much as the next person. And if you're able to sort of have some some unedited footage, you can kind of get the snippets and create, I guess, some multiple purpose content. I would imagine you can create a snippet that would then go onto a homepage and your social media to be like pinned as an announcement, and other kind of content as well. You can kind of recycle it in lots of different ways.
Yeah, mutual contact of ours is doing exactly that. They've done some interviews in the past. They've never had any time to be able to do anything from it with it. So we are taking extracts of the interviews, creating some social media sound bites, but also then treating, if you like, working on the long interviews so that they just look as best as they can. And adding logos, we can add presentation slides, we can add text, so if you want to make it a more visual experience, particularly if it is a training course, so all those things can be done. It's just knowing how to, and it takes a little bit of time. Editing is where the time investment comes in.
Yeah, I've done a fair bit of photo editing, with raw photo files, and it takes a long time. You think, oh, I'll just do this, but even when you're trying to be quick, it takes a long time. And that's why I've sort of held back from wanting to go down the sort of self-editing route, because I know that it will be a big time suck. And that's just sort of getting to know how to use sort of some of the premium software. I mean, there's obviously all sorts of more accessible software. There's lots of apps and things out there, but I'm kind of like, let's focus on what I can do to get stuff done. But I definitely appreciate and viewers appreciate when something has been edited well, even if like the mode of recording it hasn't been in kind of perfect studio environment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all worthwhile, and it just goes back down to that thing that we said at the start. It's about adding value to your community, and but yeah, if you've got a way of kind of raising the production value, then you might have more multiple uses out of that. And like you say, the evergreen content, stuff that you might be able to monetize, stuff that maybe will be relevant and valid in months and years to come, depending on what you're talking about.
Excellent. Well, I mean, the work that I've seen so far from you, and your top tips as well, that in your social media channels have been really good. So I've got no doubt that you can help so many people. So just to wrap up, where can people find you? I will put some links in sort of the post text so that people can sort of link through, but do a bit of a shout out. Where's the best? How is the best place? Oh, I can't speak. What is the best way for people to get in contact with you? How would you prefer people to contact you?
Well, I'm fairly active on social media as much as I can. So I'm a bit of a nomad in terms of traveling around, and so yeah, we've got a Facebook page which is Raise Your Glass Films. Also an active Instagram under the same handle. And my personal LinkedIn page, which is Emma Matthews. I'm not discerning on there, so whoever you are, add me. And yeah, I'm sure that.
And have you got a website with like, where's the best place for people to find examples of work that you've done for people, or see what you're up to?
So we have a YouTube channel, which is under my partner's name actually, which I'll send you the link for that. But the website is probably, we've got a selection just to showcase the variety of our work. And the website is raiseyourglassfilms.co.uk.
Yeah.
So you can see examples there, or on the Facebook page, we just put out some bits and bobs now and then.
Yeah. I think it sounds like you're at a point where you need to have your own YouTube channel. I have mine, Lovely Evolution UK.
Yeah, we never really took, because we've got such a catalogue on his, because he started out as an independent filmmaker, and then I joined him.
Yeah.
So we've kind of left it at that, because we've got the website, and we use it really as our storage. sense. No, we've got our stories for our clients, but for our own personal kind of history, documenting our work. But yeah, you're probably right. I think we also need some marketing assistance, but one thing at a time.
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying using Canva. I see you've been using it.
So, I'm not nearly as good as you, though. Obviously, I wouldn't be, but it really does remind you that it's a skill. It is a skill.
Yeah, I mean, even using the templates, it's about how you use them. But I think it's a good starting point. It's back to that, get started. Obviously, use Emma or myself for the professional stuff when you're at that point. But there's no shame or harm in just getting started. Do the best you can and keep growing and improving. But yeah, keep enjoying being part of the lovely Canva crew. And if anyone's got any questions on video and that kind of thing, feel free to connect with Emma. And thank you again.
Thanks, Marie-Louise. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
That's all right. Thank you.